This session will look at using the features in the eStudent and eTeacher edition on ConnectEd in Glencoe Science program. So I'm going to scroll down to the eTeacher edition for Life Science. To get into that, you notice I clicked on the title. I can click on the title or the cover of the book and it will take me to the book. If I click on Associated Course Content, it will take me to the management system. The first feature is the Table of Contents link up in the top left corner. From there you can click into the unit if the book has units or directly into one of the chapters. We're going to click into Unit 1. This takes me to the unit level. This specifically is in iScience where we start out with the mini graphic novel, but all books will manage the table of contents the same way. Some of the tools up at the top, you'll notice single page, double page. As I bring up double page, it will look exactly as the book is when it's laid out in front of a student. Here I have my zoom tool, my zoom in, my zoom out. I also have my 100% tool, which is a great feature to actually fill the page up. One of the other features that I particularly like is called the zoom to. When you click on that one, you can go to any spot on the page, start in the top corner and drag down to the bottom corner of what you want to zoom in on. When you let it go, it'll bring it up as large as it can. Then you can click down back to 100% to bring that up. If I want to go into a specific chapter, I click open my table of contents and click on that chapter. That's going to bring up the opening chapter page. One of the nice features they've done in this is you'll notice I'm in the Teacher's Edition, but I don't see any of those teacher notes that are usually in the Teacher Edition book. That's because this is designed for you to be able to use it as a presentation tool on a whiteboard or with a projector. For instance, this getting ready to read feature right here, I can grab my zoom to, I can start at the top, drag down to the bottom, bring that up so all my students can see it, click back on 100%, and I'm back into that larger feature. If I want to see the teacher notes though for getting ready to read, you're going to notice in all of the books the circle with the eye in it, and that's show instructor content. When you click that, it will bring the instructor content up. When you get done with it, you can click out of that. You're back into the book as a whole. If I want to move from there into a lesson, I can page forward, or I can go back to my table of contents and jump into the specific lesson that I'm concerned with or the student is concerned with at the moment. As you're going through the book, you're going to notice a number of different features that are similar in some of these books. You're going to notice the essential questions, the reading guide. These are the same in every book for middle school and high school. You're also going to notice these icons. Look kind of like a rod-shaped bacteria. They're kind of a yellowish-orange color, and they have different features as you go throughout the material. So here there's a video. All of these are direct links to those materials in the textbook. So it tells me there's a Brain Pop video right here. I click into it. There's two of them. I click into the one I want, and immediately that brain pop comes up for teacher and student in both the teacher and student edition.
Dear Tim and Moby, how are cells different? From Stephen. Well, for starters, there are two basic...
When you get done, you simply click out, and all of those features open in a new window so that as you go through it, you can choose which of those, when you get done, you click out, you're not out of the book. A couple other features you're going to find in all of the materials. One, there's audio at the bottom page as a speaker symbol. This is the full audio of the text.
You might recall from Lesson 1 that all living things are made up of one or more cells.
The video player is over here on the left-hand side in the bottom corner, and you can stop it, you can change the volume, those are throughout at point of use in the text as you go through it. Two other tools that are available in these texts as you go through. You're going to notice here's a couple other icons. There's an animation right here. There's an animation on animal cells right here. The vocabulary in the text is bolded and highlighted. It's also linked to the audio glossary. So when you click on one of the vocabulary words, the audio glossary is going to come up. English and Spanish, the English word has the audio enunciation with the definition built into it. Two other tools I was getting ready to mention. One is the Notes tool. This is available to teacher and students. I can take it anywhere on the page, click, it opens the note up. I can type in my note and I can save it right here. To get out of that feature, I simply click on Notes again and I have my cursor back, and then what I can do is move that note wherever I want it on the page. Now these notes are for the specific book that the student or teacher is using, the teacher cannot do notes and share them with all the students, unfortunately. You also have the highlighter tool, and you have that available in different colors, and you can come down and highlight segments of the text. One important note, you need to start at the bottom of the section and drag it up to the top of the section that you want to highlight as you go through, or start at the top and come down. Just play with it a little bit and you get a feel for it. To erase that, you can go back down and drag back up over the text, or bring the highlighter and click on the current text that is already done, and that'll take care of the highlighting for you. The other thing that we've done, we've not only built the resources in the text, we've also built the resources in a separate sidebar. So if you click on the Side tab, it actually brings up all of the resources for that lesson. These are all of the digital resources plus the digital version of all of the worksheets as I go through this. You're going to notice it's done by chapter, then by specific lesson. There's a lab material list up at the top. Under Teacher Edition, it highlights a few of the features in the TE. Under Resources, this is where I would find my PowerPoints, my transparencies. In the middle school page Keeley Science Probes, the transparencies can be downloaded in a zip file and then unzipped and used. These icons are also mentioned in the text, but it's all the digital activities that go along, and there's a variety of different, you notice Concepts in Motion, Review, WebQuest, and so on. When I get down into the specific lesson and I click Open Worksheets, I have my Reading Essentials listed here, my Science Notebook is here, but in the Teacher's Edition, you also have the chapter resource files. You're going to have those two ways. You're going to have a PDF version. You're also going to have an editable version. In some of the high school books, those versions are under the chapter level. When you open worksheets, they'll be listed as both the PDF version and the editable version that are available. By editable version, they are simply Word documents that can be downloaded and then handled as any other Word document can be. When you go through, you're going to see assessments, so you're going to have a variety of online quizzes, but you're also going to see in every one of the programs this Inquiry tab, which are the virtual labs that we've done for the programs that are built in, and in the Teacher Edition, the answer key. The only difference in the table of contents between the Teacher Edition and the Student Edition is the inclusion of the teacher resources in the Teacher Edition. So anything that is not a teacher resource would also be exactly the same way in the Student Edition. There is one other resource that the teacher has that the student does not have, and that is this little green My Resource tab. There is literally no way that any teacher would be able to use all of the resources that are included in this resource margin over here. So the My Resource tab is kind of like a playlist on an iPod. I actually can go up here and say I want to customize this for myself. I want to go to the chapter resources under WebQuest. On Cell Research, I want to use the student version of this, and I simply drag it over onto the list. Concepts in Motion, I want to use the interactive concept map and pull that in. If I go to Lesson 2, I want to go to the video and I want to open up the Brain Pops and grab that cell specialization video that we saw earlier. Go to Lesson 3, and under Concepts in Motion, I want to grab the active transport and I want the virtual lab right here. I might also think this is a difficult section, so under Reading Essentials, I want to grab the student pages and use that as a pre-read activity. One other feature this has is that you can actually add your own URL address that you want to put in. It could be something from from Google Docs rather, or it could be something like cellsalive.com. I can add that. I can actually change these resources and move them from one position to the next and put them in the order that I want them to be in, so my playlist is already set up for me. And then I save them, and this is my one on cells. Now, when I open My Resources back up, I can go in and customize it and edit it, or I can click in and bring those activities directly up in front of my class, either on my whiteboard or with my projector. This cannot be shared with a student. This is a playlist for the materials, but all these resources can be assigned to the student. That's just a quick overview of the workings of the Interactive Student Edition and Teacher Edition. The best recommendation I have for you is in the book that you're using, these things work the same in high school and middle school. I would take one chapter and I would go through every single resource in that chapter to get a good feel for the materials that are available in the book. In some of the programs, there are additional resources in the Browse section of ConnectEd, and there's another video that highlights some of those features. But in like iScience, all of the materials are linked directly in the book. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for listening.